No Filter MMA family. This is your boy BJ back with yet another video. This is a live stream. Guys, YouTube done switched it up. They done switched it up on me. They got a whole new programming software. It's a whole new ball game, and I've been struggling like for the past 2 hours to try to figure this shit out. But guys, I'm here. Just want to talk real quick. I'm using the basic feature, the webcam feature. It is what it is. It's. I mean, I just come on just because I said I was going to come on, but I'm gonna figure this whole thing out, guys. It's got really good options. I have my other computer over here, trying to figure out um, the different things you can do with the online, with the screen on the screen, all different kinds. But yeah, it's thanks a lot, YouTube. I mean, this is a pain. This is a literal pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass, y'all. But fuck it, I'm here. I just want to talk for a few minutes. I've been doing this for 2 hours, guys. I tried to do it way before, but I was planning on. I started messing with this thing. I started messing with this thing like 2 hours ago. So I was supposed to been on 2 hours ago, but YouTube had already got rid of Google Hangouts, so that just kind of screwed everything up. And it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. So you guys see in the title, I have Cyborg released, Spencer versus Letson, and Colby versus Usman. This whole Chris Cyborg thing is a fucking debacle. Like, it's a debacle. Like, Cyborg was wrong. Like, she was wrong as hell for what she did. Like, I don't care how people are trying to twist it, how people are trying to turn it, how people are trying to make it, something that it's not. But Chris Cyborg fucked up, and she fucked up real bad. And I hate that for Chris Cyborg. I really do, because Cyborg, I love watching Cyborg. I love Cyborg's fights. I love her demeanor, the way she approaches everything. Like, I fucking love that. Like, I love how humble she is. But this right here, like, I feel like it wasn't 100% Cyborg. Like, I feel like Cyborg let the people around her have too much control over what goes on. I just feel like she let the people around her have way too much control, have way too much say so in her, this documentary that she does and all this thing. And I didn't think Cyborg. I think Cyborg just didn't really think everything quite through. I'm sure she saw everything before it got put out, the video and all. She saw it. I'm very sure she did, but she chose to put it out. She chose to let that be, released to the public, and it backfired. And it backfired heavily on Chris Cyborg. It backfired heavily on Cyborg. But it is what it is, and Dana White is not the one to try to make look stupid, because as much as we don't like some of the things that Dana White does, Dana White is president of the UFC. So that's a pill that we all have to swallow, whether we like him or not, whether we agree with him, whether we don't agree with him, whether we, it is what it is. Like, everything goes through Dana White. And it sucks to have somebody like that in that kind of position. But, when you're a fighter, man, you got to be smart. You can't go after your promoter. You know what I'm saying? Like, your promoter is the person who's giving you fights, the person who is, paying you, the person who is promoting you. So you have to be humble. You can't do the type of things that Cyborg did. I mean, I don't know what possessed her to do something like that after putting on a spectacular performance against Felicia Spencer, and she was on her way to possibly recapturing her featherweight belt. If Cyborg would have just played the game, she would have been still signed to the UFC. But I believe the bickering problems that they had back and forth, the negotiation issues, I believe that stuff could have been settled. that stuff definitely could have been settled because I've heard that narrative from many fighters over the years, about conflicts with Dana White. I mean, look at Tito Ortiz. You know what I'm saying? Prime example. People have conflicts with the UFC. Fighters have conflict, but when you go that extra step, like look at Leslie Smith. They kicked Leslie Smith out before she could even breathe. You know what I'm saying? So when you see stuff like that, you have to. I mean, Cyborg should have known from when they kicked Leslie Smith the fuck up out the UFC. Like, yo, they not playing. They will kick motherfuckers out. It is what it is. But guys, people watching, get up in that comment section. Let me see who. Let me see who all in here. Drop some comments. Drop some comments. I see you watching. Drop some comments. But yeah, man, like I hate that for Chris Cyborg because Cyborg versus Cyborg Amanda 2, Cyborg Nunes 2 would have been a huge fucking draw. Like the numbers on that fight would have been huge because everybody wants to see that. Amanda Nunes was able to do what women have been trying to do for a very long time, and that's defeat Chris Cyborg any which way possible. A lot of people have come close. Marlos Kunin was in the fight. A lot of girls have come close to. I mean, Marlos Conan had 2 wars with Chris Cyborg. Then Amanda Nunes goes in there and starches her, and then she comes back and beats top featherweight Felicia Spencer. I mean, that's impressive. Chris Cyborg, she had it right there. She had it right there. You know what I'm saying? So I hate that Chris Cyborg. I hate that she is not in the UFC. I hate that she went out the way she went out because that was terrible. That was just awful. That was fucking awful. I mean, and you got a lot of people out here. You guys got a lot of people out here trying to defend Chris Cyborg, but how can you defend Chris Cyborg? How can you circumvent the situation that happened? What happened happened. What happened happened. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. What happened happened. And to me, I feel like the blood is on Chris Cyborg's hands. There's a lot of politics involved in the UFC, but maybe there's a home for Chris Cyborg. Maybe PFL will sign her. She can get into the tournament. Sarah Kaufman was talking about that on Ariel Helwani. Also, Bellator has a full division of top featherweights. Now, going back to Invicta, I doubt she'll go back to Invicta because that's part of the UFC. So I doubt they'll even sign her to an Invicta contract. I highly doubt that. But if Cyborg want to get paid, Cyborg need to go to Bellator. Bellator would be a great place for Cyborg. She'll fight more often. She'll have competition. If she wants to be the champion, she's gonna have to defeat Julia Budd. I mean, Julia Budd versus Chris Cyborg. Everybody's gonna be watching that. The Zone's numbers are gonna skyrocket if they get Cyborg in the UFC. In the Bellator, she's a huge draw. Cyborg is a huge draw. So it is what it is when it comes to that. Let's see, guys. So moving on from the Cyborg thing, guys, this is gonna be a quick podcast because I started a lot later than what I was hoping to start. But guys, I made a video about Felicia Spencer. What could be next for Felicia Spencer? And I believe what can be next for Felicia Spencer is a fight with Leah Letson. That is a fucking perfect fight. Leah Letson versus Felicia Spencer is a fight that the UFC really needs to be looking at. And the reason I said they need to be looking at that is because, Leah Letson could be she could be a big name in the UFC, and so can Felicia Spencer. If these girls can get in there at 145 and bang it out, and it could, because for me, 145 in the UFC is like light heavyweight men. These girls are banging at 145. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some fights at 145. I mean, 145 is buzzing right now. You got Pam Sorensen about to fight Caitlin Young for the Invicta Championship title. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the featherweights is huge, and the UFC is stupid to not capitalize. The UFC is real stupid to not capitalize on the featherweights right now. I mean, the featherweights are big, can be a big draw in the UFC. Hard hitting women, bigger women. You know what I'm saying? They're slugging it out. It could be great. It could be great. It really could. But Leah Letson versus Felicia Spencer, guys. I mean, they both come from a Taekwondo background. Leah Letson's been signed to the UFC even before she fought. I mean, even before she competed in the Ultimate Fighter. But she was supposed to fight Sarah Morris, but something happened. She didn't fight that fight. But she's only fought once in the UFC. So, you know, this could really, excuse me, y'all, I'm getting over a cold, but this could really be a big opportunity for Leah Letson if she comes in here and beats Felicia Spencer. Because Felicia Spencer has a lot of clout on her right now. Despite the performance against Cyborg, I thought it was a solid performance. I honestly thought Felicia Spencer put on a solid performance against Chris Cyborg. Yeah, Chris Cyborg outstruck her. Yeah, Chris Cyborg hit her with a lot of shots. But there was not one moment in that fight where Felicia Spencer looked like she was close to being out of that fight. She ate those shots and she kept coming forward. I mean, coming forward on Cyborg, throwing power shots, throwing kicks, throwing elbows. I mean, Felicia Spencer was in that fight from the beginning to the end. No matter what people tell you guys, you know what I'm saying, people are going to be biased on Cyborg. It is what it is. But, I mean, to be real and to be honest, you know, Felicia Spencer was in that fight. She was in that fight. And that was a very entertaining fight. I loved every minute of watching that fight. I loved every minute of the fight. Every single minute of the fight was entertaining. And like I said, guys, if you're looking for a dog, Felicia Spencer is that dog. She opened the brawl. She welcomes brawls. You know what I'm saying? And Leah Letson is a brawler too. Go back and look at her fight with B. Malecki on The Ultimate Fighter. War. Go look at her fight with Elizabeth Phillips. A war. Even though it ended quickly, it was still a little war. You know what I'm saying? It was a little 30-second minute war. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, but it was a good fight. You know, I think that's a move for Felicia Spencer. Is, you know, that's a fight the UFC should really be looking at. They should really be looking at Leah Letson versus Felicia Spencer. I mean, who else is there to fight? Who else is there to fight? Megan Anderson has a fight booked against a girl who's just getting signed to the UFC. Another interesting fight for Felicia Spencer would also be Kat Zingano. Kat Zingano, if Kat can put on some muscle, put on some size, you know, put on some weight, and really become a featherweight. You know, I mean, if Kat Zingano can really become a featherweight instead of a blown up bantamweight, you know, Kat Zingano could really compete in that weight division. I think she could. A lot of people are saying that Kat Zingano is past her days. I don't think Kat is past her days. I just think Kat been through a lot. I think Kat Zingano has really just been through a lot. And it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. Kat's been through, you know, she's been through death. She's had death in her family, death in her circle of people, her coaches, you know, and she's got a kid. Kat has a kid. So, you know, I hope that to be honest, whichever weight class that Kat Zingano decides that she wants to fight at, I'm supporting her no matter what, because I'm a Kat Zingano fan. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm a Kat fucking Zingano fan. And if anybody don't like the fact that I like Kat Zingano, and I think Kat would compete well at 145, you can kiss where the sun don't shine. Okay? I like who I like. Yeah, I like who I like. But I really hope that the UFC commits to a 145. Really, guys. I mean, I've been saying it over and over, man. Like, the UFC is missing out on so much entertainment, especially for the WMMA fans out here. The UFC is really, really selling themselves short by not creating this division. Not really, having a ranking system, having a legit weight class instead of bringing up bantamweights to try to fill in the spots, or you know, even though they are signing girls, but these girls are fighting at 145. I mean, at 135. I mean, look at B. Malecki and the chick she just fought. Leah Letson was going to fight at 135, but the fight didn't happen. You know, Leah Letson should be at 145. She's got the size, she's got the power, she's got the cardio, she's got the skill, she's got everything tailor made for 145. I think Leah cutting down, because Leah's a big girl. Leah Letson walk around at least at 160. At least 160, Leah Letson walking around. And she's a big girl. And to cut all the way to 35, I don't think that's a good idea for Leah Letson. I think Leah Letson, she's much better at 45. Much better at 45. I've seen some of her 35 fights. I mean, they're good fights, but Letson is much better at one. She's faster. She's stronger. She's not compromising herself to get down to 135, and she could be a better Letson at 135. Guys, I got to get Leah Letson back on this podcast. I want to talk to Leah Letson. Leah, I know you watch my podcast. Let's talk. Let's go. But yeah, guys. I feel like the 145-pound division, now that Cyborg is gone, it feels like Cyborg, I mean, as much as I hate to say this, it feels like Cyborg was kind of holding up the division a little bit, like she kind of, like they were waiting on waiting to get Chris Cyborg out of there. I don't know, because I don't know why, because there were girls that were wanting to fight Cyborg. There are girls out there who are like, yo, I welcome that. Leah Letson told me on my podcast that she's down to fight Chris Cyborg. Pam Bam Sorensen, a legit featherweight, told me on this podcast. Go back and find it, guys. Go back and find it. But Pam Bam Sorensen was like, hell yeah, fuck yes, I will fight her. So, I mean, Cindy Dandois was like, yes, I will fight a Chris Cyborg. That's who she's wanted to fight. But I feel like they didn't want to do that, because even Dana White said it in an interview he did with Laura Sanko. He said that Chris wanted to fight Pam Sorensen or Cindy Dandois. Why the fuck didn't he make that fight? Why didn't Dana White make those fights? You know how exciting that would have been if they would have announced that Pam Sorensen has been signed to the UFC, or that Cindy Dandois has a second shot in the UFC at featherweight. It would have been amazing. It would have been fucking amazing. It would have been amazing. I'd have loved every bit of it. Every bit of it. But we have what we have, guys. We have the makings of a division. We just lost the biggest star in the division. But you have the champion in Amanda Nunes. You have Megan Anderson, Zarafan dos Santos, who Megan Anderson is fighting. You have Leah Letson. You have Macy Chasson. You have B. Malecki, the girl B. Malecki fought. You have Kat Zingano, who I don't know if Kat. I don't know. I think Kat should stay at 145. I do. I think Kat should put on the muscle. She's getting older. Stop cutting weight down to 135. Fight at 145. Make it competitive. There's fights. There's winnable fights for Kat Zingano at 145. Kat Zingano was about to whoop up on Megan Anderson before Megan Anderson kicked her in the eye. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's just the truth. That's the truth. She was about to whoop up on Megan Anderson. But yeah, guys. And Colby Covington puts on a hell of a performance against Robbie Lawler the other night. Great fucking fight. Great fight. I'm not a fan of Colby Covington at all. Not one bit. Not a fan of Colby Covington. I'm just not. I'm just not a fan. But, not to take anything away from Colby, but Robbie Lawler really didn't look like himself. Like, Robbie Lawler, to me, he just didn't really look like himself. He didn't pull the trigger. He didn't fire. He didn't land those good heavy shots. He didn't stun Colby. He didn't back Colby up. He allowed Colby. He was doing some rope a dope. Like, dude, this isn't boxing. What are you doing? The whole time I'm looking at this fight like, Robbie, you're gonna let Colby Covington come in here and beat you, and that's exactly what Colby did. That's exactly what Colby Covington did. He came in and he beat Robbie Lawler. But it is what it is. I don't know what Robbie was doing. Like, I figured Robbie was kind of waiting until like the second or third round to really get his shots off, but didn't happen. Nothing happened. Nothing from Robbie Lawler. He got taken down. He got beat up. He got outstruck by Colby Covington. So, I mean, Colby Covington set a record on Robbie Lawler. I mean, I don't know. But that sets him up potentially to a fight with Kamaru Usman. Now, when we get to that fight, I feel like Colby's wrestling is superior to Kamaru Usman. Now, Kamaru Usman has hell of a pressure. That's one thing I've noticed about him. His pressure is legit. Like, he puts pressure on you, but so does Colby. And if they wrap each other up and take this fight to the ground, I mean, who knows? Who the fuck knows? But Kamaru Usman, I mean, the way he demolished Tyron Woodley, like, that was fucking impressive. Very impressive by Kamaru Usman. But once again, in that fight, I feel like Tyron Woodley wasn't really doing what Tyron Woodley does. I feel like Tyron wasn't pulling the trigger against against Kamaru Usman. And he let Kamaru Usman take his belt from him. I just feel like, I don't know, guys. Like, I really don't know. I don't know what to think, what's going on with these fighters right now. These fighters that we're expecting to do certain things and they're not. So, I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. It is what it is for me. What's going to happen is what's going to happen. And it looks like Kamaru versus Colby is what's going to happen. I feel like, on the feet, I feel like Kamaru Usman might be a little better than Colby on the feet as far as having like knockout power, because Colby doesn't have knockout power. I mean, he's a ball. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but Colby is a volume striker. I mean, he throws a lot of volume at you, and he overwhelms you and takes you down, makes you afraid of the shot, and tries to take you down. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of, at that point with this matchup, it's more of like who can impose their will better, harder, and faster. Who can impose their will? So, I feel like if Kamaru Usman plays it right, I feel like Kamaru could knock Colby Covington out. But Colby Covington is a very crafty wrestler, and he will go for those takedowns, and he will try to get you taken down. He will try to get you to the ground and beat you up. He's not much of a finisher as far as like submitting. He doesn't really try to submit you. He just tries to wear you down and beat you up, and that's pretty much Colby. That's what Colby does. He just tries to wear, like I say, he just tries to wear you down, beat you up, get you tired, and win the fight. Colby's been working a lot on his striking. He's working to become a well-rounded fighter, and he has. Colby Covington has become a well-rounded fighter. And after that long layoff, he walked into the cage and did what he did to Robert Lawler as if he's been actively fighting. Hold on, guys. My laptop is dying. Let me plug it up real quick. Hold on, guys. Oh, boy. All right, guys. I'm back. But I feel like, Colby has really become that well-rounded fighter, and it's a tough matchup for Kamaru, man. Like, Kamaru, as far as the striking, if Kamaru can land that big shot and find an opening and not get on his back, because if you're on your back with Colby on top of you, that's not good. But if you're on your back with Kamaru on top of you, it's not good either. But I feel like Kamaru is going to be very wary of the striking of Colby Covington. Colby, to go in there for a wrestler to go in there and outstrike a powerful striker like Robbie Lawler, that speaks a lot. That speaks a lot that speaks a lot. But hey, it is what it is. Congratulations to Colby Covington. I mean, he proved the point. He said the Trumps were coming and the Trumps came. I can't believe that. I can't believe the Trumps came. But guys, real quick, before I get off of here, I'm going to be coming at you guys with a much better stream. I just kind of wanted to get on here and say something. I hadn't been live in a minute, but I'm trying to figure out this new software. Once I get this new software figured out, it's fucking on and popping, guys. It's getting ready to be on and fucking popping. But Antonina Shevchenko. Antonina Shevchenko, if you guys catch the Shevchenko versus Pudilova fight. You know, I was actually expecting Pudilova to win that fight, but you know, I felt that it was bad refereeing because the referee allowed Shevchenko to hold that choke for way too long. Like, Pudilova was out, and she was still squeezing because the ref had stopped it. So I think that was kind of early in that fight. It was kind of bad. It was really kind of bad. I felt bad for Pudilova after Shevchenko let that choke go, and she was dead asleep, like she was knocked, that she was out. I was like, man, the referee can't do that. I mean, it was obvious that Pudilova was out. You know, I'm watching from home, and I can see that Pudilova was out. She was out. So, you know, it is what it is. Just a little test stream, guys. But you know, one thing I found fucked up about Antonina Shevchenko is Antonina Shevchenko came into the UFC, lost to Roxanne Modafferi, and was ranked. Antonina Shevchenko made her UFC debut and lost it, and was ranked. Okay. Well, you got Jillian Robertson, who came off the Ultimate Fighter. They both, you know, Antonina came off the Contender Series, Jillian Robertson came off of TF. Jillian Robertson is 4-1 in the UFC. 4-1 in the UFC. And she's not ranked. Tana De La Rosa is 3-1 in the UFC. And she's not ranked. So, you guys tell me, real quick before I get off of this stream, y'all tell me, how is Antonina Shevchenko ranked? How is Antonina Shevchenko a ranked flyweight? She's 1-1 in the UFC, and she was ranked after her loss in a UFC debut. You guys have the answer. You guys that are watching, please hit it in the comments so I can know how. How did Antonina Shevchenko become ranked after losing her UFC debut? But you got fighters like Jillian Robertson, 4-1 in the UFC. And you have Tana De La Rosa, 3-1 in the UFC. And you tell me how these girls are not ranked. But Antonina Shevchenko is ranked. I don't get it. I'll be looking into that. I'm definitely going to be looking into that. I should have asked Jillian about that last time she was on. Oh yeah, guys, be expecting Jillian Robertson very, very soon. No Filter MMA. Check her out. Check it out, guys. It's coming to you. Jillian Robertson again is coming to No Filter MMA. So expect a lot of Jillian Robertson coming. If you don't like it, oh well. But it's not. She's my favorite fighter. So I'm gonna have Jillian Robertson. She's my favorite flyweight. So I'm gonna have Jillian Robertson on the show a lot. But yeah, guys. Like I said, YouTube switched up the whole thing. I was trying to mess with it and get it to where I could show y'all something pretty instead of y'all looking at this. Y'all looking at me. This is gonna take some time to get used to the setup. The setup is a little odd, but the video shows are still gonna be coming, guys. You guys know the video shows are always coming, always there. Guys, I'm just trying to grow this channel, man. I'm doing the best I can to try to grow this channel. I'm I'm doing the best I can just to put my thoughts and opinions out there on this beloved sport that we love so much. So, just trying to get it out there, guys. Just trying to grow this channel. I appreciate all you guys who have subscribed to the channel. You know, I try to do my best to keep up, but I'm busy. I work all the time, 6 days a week, guys. So I don't always have the time to do videos, but that's going to change here. That's going to change here soon. So you'll be seeing a lot more of me on virtual MMA. You'll be seeing a lot more of virtual MMA. Guaranteed. I got some things in the pot cooking for you guys. So you guys make sure you stay subscribed. You stay tuned. Stay tuned. I'm gonna try to get another full house in here, guys. I know last time I did it, it was a great podcast. And I had the guys from Gun Up, I had Davidson Baker on the podcast, and it was a full house, and we brought the house down. Fucking great podcast. And I'm gonna get these guys back. These guys are hard to get. These guys are hard to organize. It's hard to corral these fuckers, but I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna get them. So you guys be looking forward to that. You guys also be looking forward to a lot of Steve Miocci's promotion coming soon. So there's a guy out there. There's a guy out there named Taylor Logan. There's a guy out there named Taylor Logan who likes to run his mouth a lot when it comes to Steve Miocci's. And he only does it because he knows I'm a Steve Miocci's fan, which is cool. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good, buddy. But anyways, he has to run his mouth a lot. Steve Baker's on the campus. From the campus. Steve Baker's on the campus sleep. Steve Baker going to sleep. Okay, we'll see. Right? A lot of stuff going on. I think I might do a live fight. I think so. I think that I will, guys. But anyways, I'm getting off here, guys. I just want to try to test this out and see what it is I got to do to get this thing up and popping. I use a Chromebook, but I'm going to have to get a Windows laptop because the encoders that work for YouTube don't work that well on Chromebooks. So I'm going to have to invest in a computer so I can bring you guys the best content I possibly can. Alright? Anyways, this is your boy BJ back from No Filter MMA. Drop those comments in the comment section. Hit that like button. Hit that dislike button if you haven't already. Right down there should be the subscribe button. So hit that subscribe button, guys. And I am out of here.